please be honest with me. Does this sound dumb? Like, be honest with me. I need your bold approach. If you were someone listening to my podcast, what would you think? What would catch your eye? Would you like this title? Would you prefer this title? I need your honest approach. I always ask AI, give me your honest approach on what you think is best. What can curate a good audience and what can grab someone's attention?
Talk to us about AI and public relations, and even the courses you took a while back, like language and communication theory, 3083 or 4813, podcasting, 4413, AI and personal branding. You are graduating. You're almost out of here. You have one study abroad, and then you're in graduation mode. Are you excited?
I am. I'm really excited, but I'm also going to miss your classes for sure. Because it definitely...
I appreciate that.
I'm so serious. Like, it helps me have structure and it inspires me to create content. And just, it's a great community with the students and an awesome professor.
Welcome to the show, Jazmin Morales. You've just completed, and you're completely done with, Public Relations 3523, our public relations course. What advice do you have for students who are about to approach this course?
Start as soon as you can. Pay attention to the videos you're provided and the tools you are provided, because I promise you, every sentence of it, every recording of it is crucial. There were times I thought like, oh, maybe I don't need to watch the full video. Like, no, every detail in a video is extremely important. I actually learned a lot more than I thought from this PR class. It's going to be amazing class.
That's awesome to hear. What are some of the top things that you got out of it?
So my favorite things are probably just when you interviewed Aaliyah and Maddie. Maddie, I remember her saying, start as soon as you can. And there were times where I did not start as soon as I can. And it kicked me in the butt later on. But another thing that also helped was probably the peer reviews and just my classmates using the tools and resources they're right in front of you. You don't really have to go too far. Constantly searching on Google, you can just look in your classroom. But yeah, just the advice they give with starting your own niche and just start somewhere. It's just all starting. Just start.
Yes. And the nonprofit you chose to focus your public relations efforts on this semester was?
Abandoned Pet Rescue in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
And what were some of the key problems you were trying to solve for them?
So with Florida, we have a lot of weather issues most of the time with hurricanes, constant storming, lots of flooding, and pets often are just thrown out on the street. I actually met someone, they ended up adopting a pet cat, 15 years old. And this was during a recent hurricane or storm that happened last year. And he took her in and now she's living a happy life. So just spreading awareness about that. And also there's plenty of ways you can help throughout, just taking a dog out for a walk or just donating cloths, old cloths you may not use, towels, or even posting on Instagram, like sharing like this cat is for adoption, this dog needs a home, just something like that.
So do you remember some of your strategic objectives in the situation in that analysis that you did early in the semester? I know it's been a while now since the early of the semester, since we're at the end and you completed the course.
Probably my strategic objective would be just using the who, what, when, where, and why, because people can't really read your mind. You have to put out what you're thinking and feeling. No one else can really know. And like a lot of the times people don't want to go out of their way to research things. They'd rather it just be right in front of you, easy and simple. You click a link, it's all there. But if it's out of the way, people are like, I have to go out of my way.
Your target audience of volunteers, and your target audience was volunteers, right?
Yeah. Just people in their 20s, 30s, anyone, college students, variety.
And what kind of measurable objectives did you have? Like you wanted to increase donors by X%, you wanted to increase volunteers by X%. And how did that play out?
Yeah. Within analytics, that there was a lot of clicks, but how can I push my community to take a step further? Like it's really hard to tell who's actually showing up. But I think overall just sharing was a pretty good hit, because on Instagram, there's like a tiny little arrow where people can share or just spread awareness, but it's just about the stuff afterwards. I really would like to appreciate to know about.
What would you say the stuff afterwards? What does that mean?
Like so let's say someone shares a post about there's a Pups and Pints event this Thursday. And basically what that is just there's a brewery and they have a food truck outside, they have beers outside, and then there's these pups for adoption. You can share it, but I'm curious, like who showed up? Like who ended up adopting a dog? Like I would love to have seen it, like sharing it.
So seeing how the actual social media analytics are connected to the boots on the ground, the people who are actually showing up and doing the work, that's where you wanted to get a little bit more deeper and granular in the way you're measuring things.
Yeah, exactly. Then based off of that, you can create more of a tighter community. Oh, these people showed up. Like, I'd love to reach out to them next time and connect with them and see how they felt about the event.
Were you able to get communication and numbers from your nonprofit? Because not a lot of students are able to do that.
Not yet, but I personally want to go to the organization and volunteer to help because it pushed me to be a dog walker. So I started becoming a dog walker part-time, and that was exciting. And also with the abandoned pet rescue, having experience with those dogs, it's actually better for you as a dog walker because you are handling all types of animals from various backgrounds, and they teach you leash handling, just types of aggression, stuff like that. So it's definitely helped me out on my little side business too.
That's cool. Oh, what's your side business?
It's called Rover. It's a dog walking app. The schedule varies. You can just put if you want to dog sit, walk dogs, anyone can apply. It's just like a $35 background check.
Got it. And is this a nationwide app that people all across the nation can use?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Definitely in the US. I thought about doing it in South Korea for like a part-time job, but we'll see.
Because you're headed to South Korea with UT San Antonio, right?
Yes, I am for next semester. It's my last semester, so I feel like why not just finish out with a bang.
I wish more people had the opportunity to travel abroad because it really does widen your perspective in ways that aren't always measurable and they're more qualitative, right? Like if anyone listening can do a study abroad and can afford to take that semester, we highly recommend it.
Yeah, I completely agree. And sometimes it can end up being cheaper, honestly. Like there's a couple more scholarships that are available, and the UTSA department's like so helpful. They want you to succeed, especially in general. UTSA college is just overall great, very supportive.
Fantastic. Great to hear that. I love supporting our colleagues. So, the specific strategies and tactics, what stands out in your mind as things that you want to tell people about for writing that section?
Just think about what's realistic, I guess. Don't really try to overthink it. Like it can be overwhelming with all the different words and just there's so much content, so much to say, but just like simplify it, It doesn't have to be like a big deal. Just what makes sense to you? And then in that way there's someone else that can connect with you and how you express it because we're not all one shoe size fits all. So it's okay to have different approaches to that.
For sure. And on simplicity, you want this to be easy to read for business, for the business that you're trying to help, for the nonprofit you're trying to help. You want it to be very easy to read and understand so they can take that advice and implement it. Tell us about your implementation challenges or triumphs.
Just like not repeating the same thing all the time. I find myself rambling and trying the same methods over and over, but you have to be a bit uncomfortable to learn other things and other approaches because if you just are in your safe spot doing the same thing over and over, like how are you going to grow, especially in a class that's pushing you and giving you tools to grow?
For sure. And I hope that everybody grows when they take our classes. Before we talk about the actual executions that you did, can you think about how other classes might have connected to PR that you've taken in our degree plan?
Probably communications, because I noticed with communications, it's also kind of the same concept. It's all about your approach to everything, whether it be in PR, marketing, communications. I genuinely think it's just talk to people like they're human. At the end of the day, yes, this is business, but I think communication's like the most important part in anything.
For sure. And the other classes that you took before you took public relations, what have you taken in the sequence and how did it relate to public relations? For example, if you taken a course that is in podcasting or in AI and personal branding or in, interpersonal communication, these sorts of things can connect nicely to public relations because it's human. Like you said, it's communications.
Yeah, they're like my favorite classes ever too. AI and podcasting. AI is such a great tool. I remember whenever I was first introduced to it, I was opposed because I was like, no, like I can use my big old brain instead of AI. But then I used AI for something and it just simplified everything. I was like, whoa, this is a huge tool that can be used various ways in smart ways, ethical ways. But AI and podcasting definitely helped. Podcasting also because of just expressing my voice in a way like I'm not as shy anymore. There was one class I took and I remember like the first video I recorded, oh my gosh, I've come a long way, especially with these classes. But yeah, lots of growth.
Good. It's so important to reflect on that growth so that you can say, okay, this is where I was, this is where I am, and this is where I'm going as a result of that reflection of where you were, knowing how that growth works and how it takes practice and it takes executions, for example. And when you were writing your press releases, when you're doing your media pitches, when you're creating your social media and all the other executions that we had, what were some of the highlights of that experience? Was there something that was difficult? Was there something that was easy?
To be honest with you, I'm not very tech with like Adobe Express or just anything like that. Like this class taught me a lot about that. I had trouble finding out how to create a button for the link. Like I had no idea how to do that. But there's only way to learn is through trying, submit it, and then you see like maybe it's supposed to look a different way next time. Let me resubmit it. And then as you're building your website throughout the 8 weeks, especially like the shorter some classes, you get better each week. The first week, it might not be like the best website ever, like the best thing you can ever present, but it gets better each week. If you saw how my website was the first week versus the last week, like wow, it's completely different turnaround.
So it was a real struggle, but then you overcame it, right?
Yes, yes, yep.
Very cool. And in writing the press releases and writing the media pitches, what were some of the struggles and challenges there?
I think probably just finding like up to date information because there were events that I saw that was happening, but I was just like, is this meant for like an infographic or is it meant for just spreading awareness? Like where does this follow? It's hard to decide where what goes where. Because some things can be meant for everything. Like for an infographic, you can probably make that from anything, just like the Pumps and Pines Brewery, or just how APR helped disabled students find a career within Bandari School. And then I don't know, there's like different tools you can do. Not everything can be a press release, but a lot of things can be an infographic, what I learned.
That's a great struggle to let people know about. How do you know when to choose a press release versus a media pitch versus a social media campaign? What are your thought processes in helping your nonprofit choose the right tools?
So if it's something that has a lot of quotes, a lot of detail, like who, what, when, where, why, like a lot of oomph to it, that's probably a great press release. For like a social media post, if it's more of just like at the beach, we're gonna go do a walk with dogs for the day, like that's very quick, like time, where, who, when, like that's very quick. But if there's later on, if you want to write a press release about that, like how it went, you can also do that too. Like writing quotes, how people felt that day, or just like anything.
Yeah. If it's newsworthy, right? If it meets the newsworthy values, that uniqueness, that idea of proximity, all the newsworthy values that we covered in the class as part of those assignments, then it's more in depth as a press release or as a media pitch. Whereas a social media, that's all the time, that's ongoing. So the bar is a little bit lower there, but just as important, right?
Exactly.
So, in your completion of the project, were there any parts that you'd like to go back and change? Something there where you're like, man, I could have really pushed this idea further, or maybe I could have gone a little bit more in depth on this specific execution. What did you find yourself reflecting on at the end?
I probably wish I would have gotten more quotes from the actual campaign itself. I wish I would have went in person because it's probably like 20 minutes away from me, just to have like that one-on-one feeling, and then actually let them know like, hey, I'm spreading awareness about this campaign, and that would probably light them up and like, wow, people actually care about our nonprofit. So I think actually initiating myself to go in person and just connecting with them.
That's one of the biggest differences between our 4,000 level public relations planning and campaigns class and our 3,000 level, which is the one you took, public relations course, is that in the 4,000 level, they actually have to talk to those nonprofits and coordinate a little bit more, which adds a layer of complexity for sure. If you were going to do that and you were going to contact them, which part would you lead with? What do you think was your strongest asset or idea for your public relations campaign?
I would probably let them know. I think they should probably share more like social media stuff, like on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. I noticed they had Instagram posts, but there wasn't a lot of reels, and reels are really, really popular now. And especially with our generation, like we're the most biggest Gen Z. We're like on social media all the time. So if you can just hook our generation on there, they're gonna come help, especially if they know, I guess, how cool it is, or just, like they want to hop on a bandwagon. So just have to like find a way to bring kids in. I say kid, I'm a kid, but something because most people don't want to leave the house. Like you have to make people want to like go towards that route.
Absolutely. In your reflection of all of the different pieces that you've done, you found usefulness for your planned profession. What would you think was the most useful of the things that you were asked to do to complete in this public relations course?
Most useful. I think just I would say like just building something from scratch. It taught me to build something outside. Like if I want to build something myself, like support another nonprofit out in my own time, or just I learned the tools how to build a website, just stuff like that, how to reach out to people properly. I would take that from this class for sure. But there's so many great tools in this class. It's hard to say.
That's great to hear. I like to hear that. You mentioned before that in podcasting in the earlier courses, you were getting more comfortable with speaking on camera. You were getting more comfortable with speaking, in this kind of more artificial environment that isn't like an interpersonal face-to-face environment. Has that changed how you interact with social media at all? Have you gone online more like on purpose?
So, to be honest, whenever I started all these classes, I deleted social media. I just wanted to focus on school, but then I realized social media is a great tool and you can grow, like, have a huge community from it. So, it inspired me to get back on social media. And a lot of my followers are like, they're like, where have you been? What have you been up to? And I've been sharing stuff I've been doing and they love it. I'm just like, honestly, I need to create reels. I need to be involved with this community because it is a very supportive community. You don't have to be on it all the time. You don't have to doom scroll all the time. You just have to know your boundaries of how far you want to go with social media, because you can run it or it can run you. So that's a huge key. But I think what it's helped me most importantly is like in person. I've been practicing being a better communicator overall in person because I remember with my job, I'm a flight attendant, so I have to do public announcements all the time. And I would be so scared to speak on the microphone and make announcements. But I told myself one day, I was like, you know what? Just like do it one time. Just do it one time without looking at your phone, like memorize it, just say it. And then just that one push, now I can do it like with my eyes closed. Like it's made me grow like so much. And I'm so excited because I always thought I was just like a shy person, shy, introverted. Like I can never unlearn these behaviors, but I definitely can. And with these classes, it also pushes you out of your comfort zone because like this is an online class. Like no one's like staring at you, watching every move. So you can edit as much as you want or just mess up as much as you want. Like you're not gonna see these classmates probably ever again. If you do, that's great. But yeah, it's helped me a lot outside of online and in person.
That's great. And you said that your community has shown up for you again. What's the community about? What have you chosen to focus your social media on? Because as a flight attendant, I imagine you only have so many hours to dedicate to this idea of public relations through social media.
I would say just knowing that people are there for you because I would share, guys, can you please take this survey for me? Could you check this out? And then people would reply to the Instagram story and say, done. I didn't think people would care, pay attention, but they do. And then people would heart on Instagram. You can heart the post that you share. People are hearting it. People are taking it. I was like, I guess people do care. Sometimes if overthinkers, like maybe just go an assumption, no one cares. Like who's going to take the survey? Like, but you just have to put like a little hook. Take 5 minutes to take the survey. Make it like appetizing.
That's
Yeah.
great advice for Instagram specifically. What other advice do you have for social media platforms, be it Instagram or LinkedIn or any of the other big ones that we always interact with?
I would say with Instagram, you have to like other people's posts. You have to comment on other people's posts. With Instagram stories, I'm always hearting like everyone's story because like we're here to support each other, not just here to just watch. Like I'm following you for a reason. I support what you're posting. Even just like the random videos that pop up for you page. I just go in there and just like scroll, like comment, even people I don't even know. Like there was some random person, he shared a reel saying, if you see this post, it's meant to be I might come tour your city soon. I was like, okay. I just liked it. Comment. He said, comment below your city you live in. I said, Fort Lauderdale. He's like, oh, nice city. Oh, I'm gonna have to come by soon. I'm like, oh, so like, here's this guy that owns a band. Like, you never know who you'll meet. And also LinkedIn too. I decided to not be ballsy, but just send a connection request. Like, what's the worst they can do or say is deny it. So with my company, I've been sending so many requests to just connect with people and just like their posts and like people are accepting it. My LinkedIn is growing a lot.
That's fantastic. Do you have any tips for entrepreneurship since you have this dog walking app that helps people schedule dog walks?
Yeah, so with Rover, I have some experience dog walking, but not a lot. So you just have to have quality photos. Don't just like take a selfie. Take like an actual candid photo with the dog. Because think about how you would hire someone. Like who would you take seriously? Also, AI is a great tool. I asked AI, I'm like, which photo is better for my Rover app? Is it this one with this dog or like this one where I'm laying by, just like something so simple. And AI definitely will reevaluate like which caption's better, just like what approach is better. Because I would ask, I say, so I'm very detailed with AI. I'm like, I want to be in this community walking dogs. I don't want to have to walk or drive 30 minutes north, 30 minutes south. I want a 10-minute mile range of a community here. What's the best like caption to put for this? And AI is like a whole list of all of it. So yeah, it's a great tool. It's like a green app. It is a lengthy process. I think that's why a lot of people don't sign up to be a dog walker on Rover because they also take some type of commission, but it definitely gets you out there. And in case worst comes to worst happens with the owner's pet, they have pet insurance through there and just, it's very safe. It's a very safe app rather than just going on Facebook saying, hey, I walk dogs for $20 and you have a lot of liability at risk when you do that. You sign up to be a dog walker on
Okay,
there.
so you're using the app as a dog walker. So the entrepreneurial spirit of you is you're getting hired to walk a dog.
Yes.
Okay. And then that helps supplement your income as a flight attendant. So dog walking, flight attending, and then public relations and your UT San Antonio courses. How do you manage to balance it all?
I prioritize what's most important. School, that's my priority right now. You don't have to finish all of it in one day, but start for like 5 minutes. It's just starting. And once I get on that kick of 5 minutes, next thing you know, I'm working on my laptop for 5 hours, which that's completely fine. I'm completely fine with that. I just need that little kick with flight attendant and then dog walking. I tell myself it's okay to do things, but you don't have to do everything. So just rest. Rest is also crucial. If you recharge, you do self-care, you'll feel more empowered, more willing and wanting to do all these tasks. Because if you drain yourself, you probably won't do a lot.
And you learned a bunch of skills for your future career, for your future job. But I know that some of the skills that you got in your degree program directly apply to interfacing with the public as a flight attendant or as a dog walker. Can you speak to some of the courses that were more useful in that kind of preparing you for those jobs?
Yes. So for sure, the communications class helped me.
Which one?
There
The introduction one or
So do you remember the one where we had to do videos probably like every week?
language and communication theory? Yes. Where you're learning about communication theory as it applies to real life. And then you're able to take that into your actual dog walking and flight attendant jobs.
Yes. And also just, it may not seem like a lot, but practicing in front of a camera, talking, it helps, especially if you reflect on it. Like, you notice, like if you're like straight faced the whole time, if you have any expressions, if you're doing like arm movement, all of that helps so much, even in person, because if you can practice it in front of a camera, it pushes you to practice it in real life with other people and just have more enthusiasm and you're more likable, honestly, when you have better communication skills.
Absolutely. And I wonder what other kinds of skills you're now taking and transporting into your new career, your new professional life. What are some of the top skills you feel like you've really gotten from your degree program or from public relations since it's the most recent?
I would probably say listening more, hearing what other people have to say, like their story. It's not always about like what we have to say, what we're wanting to share. It's great, but at the end of the day, people just want to be heard and they want to be listened to, especially things they're passionate and care about. So listening is a big thing. Communicate, that is a part of communication, like how well can you listen? There's so many good things. I'm really grateful for this class. Like I remember I chose communications major just like thinking it's an online degree. Like, cause this is all online for me. All my classes are all online. So I
You're
never
in
really
Fort
got
Lauderdale, so it has to be.
yeah. So even like with my associate's degree, most of it was online, just all online. So I never really got to practice like face-to-face interactions, but this class helped me by doing, well, the language and theory communications class helped me as well to have weekly videos. And then, I mean, the public relations class as well, just interacting with students every week. The AI and podcasting class as well. You are also recording constantly. You're sharing your voice, and you have great peer reviews that tell you tips and tricks on what to fix. And little did I know I would apply these in real life, like unconsciously, like changing my tone of voice and just how much detail I share, just little things like that.
That then set you up for success in your career later too, not just now, right?
Yes, exactly. Like, I'm really excited with all these tools I was given and how I can apply it later in my career.
And if you had to pick now, would you stay in the airline industry or would you move? What industry would you pick if you had to pick right now?
Right now, honestly, I would probably go into teaching. I think I would love to teach about communications, and I want students to know when I teach, like, you can come from anywhere and anything. Like, your voice also deserves to be heard, no matter how shy you think you are, how well you think you can't communicate. I'm a prime example of how much I've grown, and I'm excited for my growth on being a better communicator. So I definitely want to teach communications, definitely.
Exciting. So where would you want to teach? What level?
Maybe professor. We'll see. Because I'm aiming to get my master's as well. I don't know where exactly. I was thinking about South Korea, but we'll see after the study abroad experience if I can stay there another 2 years.
Excellent. So a master's, possibly an international master's degree to be able to leverage and to be able to teach people how to do what you've learned how to do here at UT San Antonio. Exciting.
Yeah. Yes.
Awesome. Do you have any broader advice for those who are about to enroll in communication courses, plural, at UT San Antonio?
So, in my opinion, I think communications is probably like psychology and communications are the most important aspects of life. No matter what path you go on, if you don't know how to communicate, you're not gonna be successful. Like, you could be the smartest person ever, but if you don't have a way to execute these ideas, no one's gonna know what you're trying to say. Like, no one can understand you. So you have to find a way that works for you on how to communicate your ideas well. Pick your classes wisely. Like, you invest so much money and you're spending a lot of time into these classes. Pick what you want to study. If public relations doesn't light you up, maybe AI and podcasting will, or maybe you might enjoy a marketing class instead, or a social science class. I don't know. Just pick what you want. Obviously your credentials are important, but pick one that can coordinate with your degree plan. If you struggle with public speaking, maybe pick that one. Or if you want to learn how to build a website, you can do a PR public relations class.
So you had to pick your favorite top 3 courses at UT San Antonio in our communication department. What would they be?
Number 1, 4813 Theory Podcasting. Number 2, 4413 AI and Personal Branding. And number 3, 3083 Language and Communication Theory. Yeah.
Cool. So 3083 Language Communication Theory, which is more of a core course, and then 4413, which is AI and Personal Branding, which is a special topics in communication course, and then 4813 Podcasting. That's a mouthful and a lot of numbers to have to remember. Did you see a relationship between AI and Personal Branding and podcasting?
Yes, because I kind of knew what to expect out of the class. I knew there was a lot of theories practicing peer reviews, self-review. It's a lot of inner work as well and outer work. So all of those definitely have the reviews, but also they are like little building blocks to a final product. They definitely put the puzzle pieces together with my career. I'm more confident now with building my personal brand now that I've taken these classes.
Excellent. And you'll be able to attract either clients or employers. Which are you more interested in?
I think clients.
Maybe you can have your own business and your own brand.
Now that we've studied like how audiences interact with posts and just what the media actually wants, now that I have a better depth of it, I can also produce better content, because before I had no clue. I was just posting to post. But once you study it, it's definitely helpful.
And hopefully there's some threads there that connect with the public relations course we just took too, because after all, that's the big picture, as opposed to the nuts and bolts of a podcast or the nuts and bolts of a personal brand. Do you see a connection between the public relations course and those other two?
You have to work very hard in all of them. And also just with Adobe Express, and you're going to have to do a lot of research. All of them, you're gonna have to do a lot of research. No matter the class, you're gonna have to do a lot of research. But it's good research.
Yeah, and research is the foundation, right? You want good research to be the foundation of a campaign in public relations, a personal brand in AI and personal branding, or a podcast in the podcasting course.
Exactly. And, in order to have a great audience, they want you to know, like, what are you talking about? Like, where are you getting this info from? Like, what research do you have? Are you ethical?
And what advice do you have for people who are leveraging AI specifically? Because earlier you mentioned that it really surprised you how useful it was, but there was an ethical component. You wanted to make sure you used it for this and not that. Can you break that down for us?
So with AI, you can use it for anything. I didn't even know some things you can use it for. Like, it can just make things simple. Like one thing I would do most a lot, because I like to talk, ramble, a lot. I would speak into the microphone with AI. Like my idea, just like my podcast pitch, my approach, what I want to do. I'm like, hey, today I want to make a podcast about why I think communication and community are like very important, like how important it is to find a community. And I'll ramble a bit. Then AI is like, okay, here's how we're going to organize it, in order, because I'll hop from topic to topic, but AI simplifies it down for me. And then as I'm recording, I can just look back at it and be like, okay, like these are the points I hit, and I'll do it in this order. So it's really great for structure and also making things sound better in my own words, but it's different if you were to like tell AI, like, hey, I need a podcast pitch about why gardening is important for you. And like, because you can do that, but should you do that? No, you need to do like your own research on why you think that is, and also put your experience on how gardening is good for you. Don't just use AI to do everything.
Using it as a tutor, using it as a feedback, using it like you would a human being looking at your work and saying, have you considered this? And deciding as the human loop to reject advice and to accept advice and to make changes where you see appropriate. That's where we are now with the use of AI, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes I tell AI, I'm like, please be honest with me. Does this sound dumb? Like, be honest with me. I need your bold approach. If you were someone listening to my podcast, what would you think? What would catch your eye? Would you like this title? Would you prefer this title? I need your honest approach. I always ask AI, give me your honest approach on what you think is best. What can curate a good audience and what could grab someone's attention?
So you've asked AI for advice. You've engaged with custom GPTs after you took the class. So it's okay if you don't remember. Like it was a GPT that you go to and it would specialize in this specific topic. Did you ever experience that or no? Which AI do you use?
The 5.2.
Okay.
Yes.
So you use ChatGPT 5.2. Did you use any other AIs in your work or research?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So you were using mainly ChatGPT 5.2, which is what most people are using as well. So that's good to know.
Okay.
And 5.2 just came out actually like just weeks ago, I think it came out.
Yeah. I have the subscription.
Yeah, excellent. So you're a paid user of OpenAI's ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. What are the things have you done with it?
Probably I'll give it like my to-do list. I'm like, today I have to do this. I need you to help me structure on how I should plan my day accordingly. That's also what taught me how to prioritize things in order, because I would be overwhelmed with school, flight attendant, dog walking, who knows what. And Chad would tell me straight off the bat, like, okay, realistically, you need to finish school. I would ask him, like, how do I find a link? Like, how do I create a link on this website? And it's like, here. And it'll give me like a long explanation. I'm like, chat, please simplify it for me. My brain is fried. I need it simplified. And it's like, okay, like boom, boom, boom. And it makes it so much easier.
I love to say, explain it to me like I'm a 5th grader. And then if that doesn't have enough nuance, explain it to me like I'm an 8th grader. If that doesn't have enough nuance, we just keep rising up so that you get the level of detail that you need to be able to understand it at the level that you want to understand it.
Exactly. And like sometimes when we're so overwhelmed, we have a lot of things on our plate. That's what we need this for. We got to get things done, and this just helps it.
Are there any other uses of AI that you like to celebrate?
Sometimes I'll take a photo. I'm like, what complements my my face structure more? Like, should I do bangs, or should I do this, or should I wear this top? Should I wear this skirt? And it's like, no, yes, or like this color. It's a great tool. It knows how to. I don't know if it's accurate all the time, because sometimes it'll throw an outfit for me, and I'll send it to my mom, and my mom's like, what is that? But then other times, my mom's like, wow, that looks really good. I'm like, yeah, thank you, chat.
You take the AI output and you take it to a human you can trust. That's the key.
Exactly. I'm like, I need a second opinion to confirm this is legit.
Exactly. Awesome. Well, Jazmin, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us about AI and public relations, and even the courses you took a while back, like language and communication theory, 3083 or 4813, podcasting, 4413, AI and personal branding. You are graduating. You're almost out of here. You have one study abroad, and then you're in graduation mode. Are you excited?
I am. I'm really excited, but I'm also gonna miss your classes for sure. Because it
I
definitely
appreciate that.
I'm so serious. Like it helps me have structure and it inspires me to create content and just it's a great community with the students and a awesome professor.
And we hope you come back to share where you land and how your degree has helped you to secure that client or that job, or maybe even that master's degree and that teaching job. You never know where you're going to land, and we want to hear about it. So please drop us a line. Oh, and before we go, where can people find you online? What are your handles?
I have LinkedIn. Please add me on LinkedIn. Let me see my handle. I have Instagram for sure. It's Jazmin Z Morales, JAZMIN ZMORALES. And my
It's
LinkedIn,
Jazmin with a Z,
yes,
and then a Z is a middle,
yes,
and then Morales with an S.
yes.
And that's your
So
Instagram handle. What about LinkedIn?
LinkedIn is Jazmin Morales. You'll see me on there.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again, Jazmin, for sharing all of your wisdom here and helping people who are coming right behind you. We appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.